Hello my dear learners, welcome back. Today in this video, we would be starting off with exercise 5.1. I've put up the problems on the board. Let's get started. So the first one is 5i into minus 3i by 5. Now all these problems in your exercise, starting from question number 1 to question number 10, you have to express it in the form of a plus ib. So whatever answer you get, it should always resemble in the form of a plus ib. Okay. So I have 5i into minus 3 by 5i. So let's start multiplying. So this can be written as 5i into minus 3 by 5i. 5 and 5 gets cancelled. This is only possible because I have multiplication sign in between. So this can be written as minus 3i square. I know that I square is equal to minus 1. So when I substitute, I get this as minus 3 into minus 1. So my answer is 3. But I should write this in the form of z is equal to a plus ib. So when I write this in the form of z is equal to a plus ib, my imaginary term is anyways not there. So I will represent it by 0i. So I can write this as 3 plus 0i. So therefore, a becomes my real term and b is equal to 0 becomes my imaginary term. So hope this question is followed by everybody. So if you have not followed, please pause the video, play it from the beginning, from wherever you haven't understood. Please get your concepts right and the steps right, because concept is power. So we come to the second question. So in our second question, this resembles theory of indices. So first we will use theory of indices, in the sense properties which we have already used for indices, and then we will substitute for I square. So I to the power 9 can be written as, in terms of I square, can be written as I square whole to the power 4 into I. Okay, why is this so? 4 into 2 will give me I to the power 8. When the bases are same, powers can be added. So 4 2s are 8. So I to the power 8 plus I to the power 1 is giving me I to the power 9, which is my previous step. Always please remember, my learners, whenever you do your previous step, okay, it should always be equivalent to your next step. Whenever you do your next step, it should always be equivalent to your previous step. This is our mantra. If I do any step and it does not resemble my previous step, then something is wrong. Okay. So now, then I have a plus sign. I to the power 19 can be written as I square whole to the power 9. 9 2s are 18. Remaining I to the power 1. So what all I have used here? Among theory of indices, I have used this particular identity. That is, a to the power m whole to the power n is equal to a to the power mn. So when I multiply 2 and 4, I will get back a to the power 8. I to the power 8. Next what have I used? When the bases are same. So a to the power m into a to the power n is equal to a to the power m plus n. So when the bases are same, powers can be added. So after I use my next step, after I use my indices, what do I get? I square whole to the power 4 is minus 1 whole to the power 4 into I plus I square whole to the power 9 can be written as minus 1 to the power 9 into I. In my previous video, I have told you all that if I have a negative term and this negative term has an even power, then I will always get a positive value. So that is 1 into I. Next I have a negative term with an odd value, odd power. So that time I will get back my negative term. So I will get this as minus 1 into I. So this can be written as I minus I plus I minus I will get cancelled. So your answer is equal to 0. So here we see that our entire answer is 0. We do not have a real term. We do not have an imaginary term. So in this case, what will you do? I have to write it, but I have to write it in the form of a plus ib. So this can be written as 0 plus 0i, where a is nothing but my real term and 0 is nothing but my imaginary term, which is denoted by b. Hope you all have understood. Next, the third question. I come to I to the power minus 39. So before coming to I to the power minus 39, I would like to give you all some examples. So for example, if I have 1 by 2, okay. So 1 by 2, if I have to write it in terms of negative power, how do I write? I will write this as 2 to the power minus 1. Yes. Similarly, if I have 1 by 6 and I have to write it in terms of negative power, can I write this as 6 to the power minus 1? Yes. The same thing with regard to I to the power minus 39. So this I to the power minus 39, I have to write it in a fractional format wherein I do not have a minus sign. So can I write this as 1 by I to the power 39? Yes. So with this concept, you would have understood writing it in the form of 1 by I to the power 39 is absolutely correct. So let's proceed with the steps. So I've got I to the power 39. So I to the power 39 in terms of I square can be written as I square whole to the power 19. 19 twos are 38, and what is remaining? I to the power 1. Yes. So now I to the power square whole to the power 19 is nothing but I to the power 38. Yes, into I to the power 1. Now I can use, when the bases are same, powers can be added. So when the bases are same, so 19 into 2 is 38 plus 1 will give back 39. So which means since I am getting my previous step, my working is correct. So therefore this can be written as 1 divided by minus 1 whole to the power 19 into 1 into I. Yes. Now 1 divided by minus 1 whole to the power 19. We all know that any negative term with an odd power will always give me a negative power. Correct? So will always give me a negative term. So this can be written as 1 divided by minus I. So is this my final answer, viewers? No, this is not my final answer. Why do I tell this is not my final answer? Please check out my denominator. Denominator is minus I. We know that value of I is equal to square root of minus 1. So when I have square root of minus 1, what do? I rationalize the denominator. I hope all my learners have understood. So when I have anything in the form of root, I have to remove that root symbol. So what will I do? I will multiply both numerator and denominator with opposite sign. Correct? So I have minus I will multiply and divide by plus I. So I will get this as I divided by minus I square. Correct? I will just erase the previous part so that there is some more space for you all to understand it in a better way. So I have I divided by I square. So when I substitute the value of I square, I write this as minus I divided by minus 1. So this can be further written as, please see for the steps here, this can be further written as I divided by 1. So now I divided by 1 is nothing but I. Correct? Now obviously I only have got my imaginary term. I do not have my real term. Now how do I write it in a plus ib format? I can write this as z is equal to 0 plus 1i, because only I is nothing but the term which is getting multiplied with 1. So therefore my real term is equal to 0 and my imaginary term is equal to 1. So this is how I write all my questions in terms of a plus ib format. So in this video, we have covered the first 3 questions of exercise 5.5, 5.1. So we would be continuing with the second set of problems of exercise 5.1. Please stay tuned. Before you get back to the videos, please make sure that you are very strong in your concept, because we know concept is our strength. Thank you, learners. Have a great day.